morning, it's Troy here from Well Team. Another fantastic day to be out. And who better to be out with the man who was, at 55, the fittest man on the planet?
Well, they say that, but I don't know about that.
Well, must have been bloody close. I'm here with the good man, Kev. Now, Kev is a bit of a legend when it comes to mountain biking. You might have seen his name, Kevin Ferguson. I met Kev back, it must have been 2012 when you were doing Iron 5 for 55?
2014 it was, yeah.
2014, Iron 5 for 55, a great story. Kev Ferguson doing 5 Ironmans in 1 year and aiming to be the age category winner and record setter for each of those.
Yep.
5 Ironman Triathlon. So Kev, just go over what an Ironman Triathlon involves.
Yeah, it's a 3.8k swim, then go out in a 180k bike ride and finish off with a 42.2k run. Just, yeah.
Nice little run in the park.
A nice little run in the park, yeah.
And so you did 5 of those in 1 year. Now, for people who've never done one, and I've never done one, they're beyond me, but so how long do you have to train to do one, and how long's the recovery period afterwards?
I mean, obviously for Ironman, I had a lot of shorter stuff first, so I had the base training, but majority of people who haven't done an Ironman, you want to look at about 6 months to build up training to do an Ironman. Yeah, I've been in the sport so around about 15 years before I started doing Ironman. So I had that base from shorter distance racing.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, the recovery, unfortunately, with Iron 5 for 55, I think the first one was in March, and then about 23rd of March, and then the next one was beginning of April. So I only had just over 3 weeks recovery. So it's not the best of plans, but...
And for a lot of people after that, because a marathon in itself, you run a marathon, generally people suffer stress fractures, they suffer all sorts of injuries as a result of a triathlon or a standard marathon. But you're doing 5 of those in a year, which is still not impossible.
No.
But then, because you're not training just for a marathon, you've got all the swim and all the bike time as well. So you've got to be prone to injuries.
Yeah, actually, I think it's better because with the running, obviously, that's the most impact. And if you're training for a straight-out marathon, you're doing more miles running where you can spread that over the swimming and the cycling. And even cycling, it helps with your running as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, you don't tend to run. I think my biggest run week was around about the 90. I don't try to get over 100 Ks, especially as I got older as well. Yeah, mate. Good to see you.
One of the neighbours dropping in.
Yeah, so you can spread the load out a little bit more. I mean, I've only done 1 marathon straight out, and I found that actually harder than doing a marathon after an Ironman, because you don't run quite as fast. So that marathon I did was a sub 3, where in Ironman, my best time was about 3:16.
Yeah,
and that 16 minutes is a huge difference as far as impact on your legs.
And pace, yeah. And so now your story, because a lot of people, I was reading an article the other day in Guardian about people reaching their peak fitness over the age of 50. And I myself, at the start of this year, I was telling you on the way up here on the bikes, is that I was probably the fittest in my life early this year and then had an injury, which was a bit of a disappointment. But ultimately, there are a lot of people building up to that. Now, you didn't start off as a triathlete.
No.
So tell me a bit about where you started before you got into triathlon.
Yeah, well, I come from the country, so good country boy. You're playing country football, you sort of go to the pub after training. And so, yeah, a fair bit of drinking, and I was a smoker. And then I moved to Adelaide, became a commercial diver. And the life of a commercial diver, you're sort of staying in hotels all the time, drinking every night, smoking, play hard, work hard type stuff. And yeah, sort of with that group, it was too much of that drinking, and I decided I needed to change of life. So I started to stay in different apartments and kept away from the pubs and started sort of training. So yeah, found triathlon, and I think triathlon actually saved my life the way we were going, and the amount of smoking and drinking I was doing. And I think I told you before, my first triathlon actually had a smoke before the race. A bit silly, but yeah, it's pretty hard. I tried everything to try and give up smoking, and triathlon was the best thing, the easiest way to give up smoking. Is find a sport that's a bit more extreme.
You can't really smoke when you do a triathlon.
No.
You work it out pretty quick.
Yeah, you can with football, but yeah, not smoking.
And so how old were you when you got into triathlon?
I was 34, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a late starter.
Yeah, good. And so to go there now, so how old are you now? You must be 45?
62.
62.
Yeah.
62, incredible. 62 years of age and a man this fit. We've just come up a pretty steep climb here. He was well ahead of me cruising up. And I think Kev's one of these people who really demonstrates that age doesn't really matter. You know, at your age, you'd be still one of the fittest guys going around in triathlon in the state, would you?
Oh, there's people a lot faster than me now, but I still can, give a few of them a bit of.
I hear the stories from some of those people faster than you, and they keep talking about how much faster you are than them. It's quite extraordinary. So what's your secret to it? How do you keep in the game at 62?
It's find something you love, obviously, and triathlon, as I said, it saved my life, and it's just a great sport. You get to meet not people here locally, but all around the world. Everybody's got the same sort of drive. They're very motivated type people as well, so it's easy to motivate you when you're out training with motivated people. So, and it's just a great lifestyle, as you say. It's a lot of my holidays involved triathlon as well.
Yeah.
So you look at places where there could be a race, and let's go and let's check that place out. Sometimes my wife doesn't like that too much, but I just love it. The training. Some people hate training, but I just love it. Days like this, how can you not like that?
Exactly.
You can come up here, people are still in bed, and they've missed out on something like this. It's just, it's terrific.
And that's the thing that I love. You get up early, you're coming down this road here, and you look out over the city here, and particularly even a bit earlier in the winter months, and you see all the twinkling lights on here, and you're coming down with lights on your bike thinking, I'm up here, I'm absolutely 100% alive, I'm out here in nature, and they're there in bed sleeping. There might be a few people watching this thinking that's a better option. It's not overly hot this morning, but it's pretty good. So now, you've got a couple of kids.
Yep.
You're married, couple of kids, full-time job, Ironman Triathlon at 55. Now that's the peak of most people's, career. If they're looking at career aspirations, they're pushing hard at that time. How the hell did you fit it all in? Because that's a lot of training. That's a huge training load, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a second job when you're training for Ironman. Especially Iron 555 and even when I towed Sid around.
We'll touch on that in a minute,
Yeah, it was to get through them, I had to make sure I was in peak condition before I hit the 5 Ironman. And yeah, it is. It's up at 4:30 most mornings, and then when you come home, it's that training afterwards. I'm lucky. Some people need their 8 hours sleep. I can survive on 5 to 6 hours sleep, so everybody's different. So that obviously gives me more time to train. So, but it was like a second job. So a lot of people do 2 jobs. A lot of people in the, higher up, they have to work those long hours. I get to work in a longer hour and something I love. So it's not that hard.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that's the key to it. Getting up early means that you can fit your training in as a priority first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So it always comes first. Yeah. Getting fit, being healthy comes first in your day. And I think that sets you up for success, doesn't it?
Well, that's right. I mean, Tuesday mornings, I used to get 100 k's in before I started work at 9 o'clock. So lucky I started at 9, so it gave me a bit of extra time. But it can be done. If you just set your targets and build up to it, there's ways of doing things if you really want to. That's it.
Perfect. And I love as well, one of the things that you did after Iron 55 with Sid. When was that? So tell us a bit about that. So here's one of your mates who is a quadriplegic, and you wanted to get him into an Ironman triathlon.
Yeah, well, Sid James, he runs the Victor Harbour Triathlons. He's been a quadriplegic for 25 years now. He actually was training to do his first 70.3 to qualify to do an Ironman. And unfortunately, we don't know what happened, but he's up in the hills and came off and hit by a car. But became a quadriplegic, and working at TAFE, he used to do a bit of lecturing there as well, a bit of motivation. And he came up to me one time there at TAFE and said, "Look, Kevin, I'd like to come over to Hawaii and watch you." And I said, yeah, sort of helped plan that. And I started thinking about that, and Rick and Dick Hoyt, father and son, that did Hawaii Ironman, and he towed him around. I thought, well, if he could do it, maybe I could.
That's right. Yeah, it's an inspirational story. Yeah.
Maybe I could have a go at that. So I sort of started thinking about it, and it was always his dream to do an Ironman. So the next time he came, I sat him down. I said to him, instead of you watching, it's pretty boring because we go out and you don't see us again. How about if you become an Ironman and I tow you around? And tears come down his eyes, and I knew straight away I made the right choice.
Yeah.
And he was overwhelmed. So the training began, and it's an epic thing. I thought maybe I bit off too much because Sid was he's 85 kilos, and the chair weighed just over 23 kilos, I think. So it was 120 kilos I was towing around at the start, but Sid lost a lot of weight and it got down to 100 kilos. So I had to tow 100 kilos around the course, and unfortunately we didn't get to do Hawaii. And that, some bad news comes good news, because it was a tough day.
And you were out in Perth, wasn't it? You did Perth?
Yeah, we did Perth. Yeah, so it was only about 3 weeks out. The organisers canned it on us. We'd qualified, we had a spot we were going, so the trip was planned. And unfortunately, because Sid had some health issues, and they just said it was too dangerous over there because they didn't have the facilities to cater for him. So, I mean, he got his wish. He came over and watched me do Hawaii, and he got treated like a VIP anyhow because they cut us short at the very last minute. So that was a good experience. So he got to see that. And the following year, I said, I'm still not going to give up. We'll do this. And we did Busso, and it's a flatter course, and it wasn't as extreme. And we made it, and I think we did it in about 14 and a half hours. So pretty stoked with that. We didn't come last.
Oh, that's bloody extraordinary. Eh? I mean, an Ironman Triathlon on its own is tough. To be towing someone out on the water, so you've got a 3.8 swim, towing a sled essentially.
Yeah, I had a kayak, a kayak. Yeah.
Okay.
And that actually wasn't too bad.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, it was quite easy. I hardly felt him at all.
That's extraordinary. So, when you look at people to inspire you to aim for more, aim for higher, Kev is a normal bloke. You could see him. You certainly would have seen him down the pub years ago, having a smoke there, having a drink, and then he's out there on the world stage, essentially competing out there at the front of the pack. For people your age category, you're well out in front of them. But a lot of the professional guys, you would have been up touching on their heels as well. At 55 years of age, 62 now, still out there pushing it. What would you say to people out there who are watching this going, I probably can't do that?
As you say, I started off my first triathlon. I rode an old Standish bike, $99, still had the reflectors on it, and I rocked up there and I thought, what the hell am I doing? I had no idea, but I started from the very basics. You got to start somewhere, and whoever thought, in my wildest dreams, I never thought I'd become a world champion and compete nationally and all that sort of stuff. So, if you don't try, who knows what you can do? So, who knew that I'd become a world champion when I first started? No possible way I would have thought of that. Well,
you're a bloody inspiration to me, Kev. And Kev is also just starting up a new business soon called 7 Senses Adventures, where he'll be taking people out. He's worked for TAFE for many years, teaching diving, which makes sense given the commercial diving background, but also snorkeling. You've gone through the bushwalking, you've got mountain biking tickets as well, and you've got some amazing collapsible kayaks, which I'm yet to see, but I'm pretty excited about having a crack at those. And so you're going to be taking all of these trips soon under 7 Senses Adventures. Now, so just touch on that. So 7 Senses Adventures, we always hear of the 5 senses. What are the other 2?
The other 2 is obviously balance. So all the stuff I'm doing is about balance, kayaking and even snorkeling and that, getting your balance underwater, and movement. We've got to get moving. People are sort of sitting on the couch a fair bit now, so incorporating those 2 other main senses of balance and movement into our trips, and then the 5 senses. We're going to get out in this environment. We want to smell it, we want to taste it, we want to see it, we want to touch it. That type of stuff. So I've worked in the tourism outdoor industry for 20 odd years. Been a commercial diver, spent 2 years underwater, so I want to share that experience out here with other people and get them involved in nature. And nature's the best therapy. It's been proven now, so getting outdoor and hugging a tree and smelling this and the peacefulness and having a nut,
kangaroo right past.
It's fantastic. Can't get better than this.
Absolutely. Well, there we go. Great time. Thanks, Kev. Kev Ferguson. Keep an eye out for him, and certainly keep an eye out for 7 Senses Adventures. I hope you're having a fantastic day out there. I hope you find some inspiration from Kev to get out there. And remember, Well Team motto is do what you can, where you are, with what you've got. And I think, Kev, you're a classic case of somebody who takes that and turns it into a world champion territory. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Roy.
I look forward to the ride back. We're going back down or up now?
Let's keep going up.
I think we might be going up. Anyway, have a great day out there and go well.